In today's video, I'll be revealing the 5 distinct levels of retirement remorse that plague retirees at different stages, from minor regrets to life-altering mistakes that can't be undone. And I'm going to tell you, after being a financial planner for over a decade, I've personally seen them all. There is a hierarchy of remorse, though, that emerges again and again, and it ranges from, I wish I had taken more trips, to, I can't believe I locked myself into that decision and now I can't go back. And that's why I'm making this video today, to walk you through the 5 levels of retirement remorse in order of severity to help you understand and identify the mistakes that are fixable, which ones aren't, and most importantly, how not to fall into them. Level 1 is the lifestyle adjustment regrets. This is the most common and least severe from the retirement remorse, and it usually shows up within 6 to 18 months. It's not that your finances are off, it's that your lifestyle just doesn't feel as good as you had imagined. You had visions of slow mornings, rounds of golf, maybe a Mediterranean cruise or two, and instead, you're struggling to fill the calendar. You're bored. What people don't expect is how much work gave them structure, identity, and even social connection. When that's gone, it's pretty jarring. Many of my clients use this early retirement phase to recalibrate. They pick up part-time work, find meaningful volunteer roles, or simply get more intentional about their daily rhythm. Think of this level as a reality check, not a crisis. While these lifestyle regrets are usually fixable, let's take a look at level 2, where regrets begin to start taking a more lasting financial toll. Level 2 is tapping into your money for higher and longer than you anticipated. Many retirees overspend early. Maybe they finally take that dream trip or help a family member buy a home or many other things, but they underestimate how that affects them over the next 20 to 30 years of income planning. And I want to be clear in that I am of the belief to take those trips early in your retirement while you still have your health. But if you're front loading a lot of your traveling, you should be ready to make the sacrifices on the back end of your retirement. Of course, with the caveat that if you can afford to do these things, then not to worry about it. It's easy to get caught up in all the travel, and then you turn around and 15 years have gone by and now it's a habit and it can't be sustained. That's what I'm talking about here. A few other things that I've seen are the generosity towards kids and grandkids that become a long-term habit. It's great being able to help out loved ones, but you also need to remember that your money is now finite. So building a habit like gifting money when you can't really afford it over the longer term can be a tough habit to break, especially when your child continues to come back for more and more and more. The issue here isn't necessarily a mistake. It's the limited flexibility to fix or course correct when you're on a fixed income. But again, this level is often still recoverable, especially if you can find and identify it early enough. Some strategies I've seen work well here are reworking the budget while preserving your lifestyle. If you want to do the trips, find other areas that you don't need to spend money and reallocate towards the things that you want to do. Want to go on the extra trip? Do some small consulting or freelance gig, or get some extra cash flow. But the bottom line here is to prioritize the most meaningful expenses and trim the rest. And here's the good news. Most retirees who recalibrate within the first 2 to 3 years regain financial control and avoid the compounding of that mistake. Now that you understand these first 2 levels of retirement regret, fill out the questionnaire in the description and I'll send you a free video showing how to avoid these costly mistakes and create a regret-free retirement plan. Level 3 are the investment regrets, and we're getting into more serious territory. The kind of regrets that don't just sting, they can derail decades of careful planning. This is where I've seen some really deep remorse. Retirees who have panic sold in a downturn, got too conservative and lost ground to inflation and switched strategies midstream out of market fears. And sadly, these mistakes are often made out of overconfidence or poor guidance and decision making. People think, hey, I've got this. I saw a YouTube video saying the market will be down another 30% from here. Makes sense. Look what's happening in the world. I'll go to cash. And then they'll move forward without a second opinion or thought on how hard it is to make that ground back up if they are incorrect. And the worst part, the math works against you. If you lose 30% in year 2 of retirement because of a poor investment decision, you're not just down 30%, you're potentially altering your withdrawal plan for life. It's also really hard to get back into the markets once you've gotten out. Add in behavioral biases like loss aversion and confirmation bias, and suddenly people abandon good strategies just because they feel wrong in that moment. And if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know one of the most important strategies I have to beat this level is to build a bond ladder. Have a smart place to take money for the next 2 to 4 years of your retirement. Have cash and money market accounts and income yielding assets that you can safely draw on to pay for your living expenses. And by the way, if you're liking the video so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithm share this with more people and hopefully keep someone else from falling into the traps of level 4 or 5, which we're about to get into. Level 4 regrets are what I call the fork in the road mistakes. These are the moments where you have to make a decision, and it's either going to be the right one or one that changes course of your retirement in the worst way. And man, these hurt when they go wrong. Let me give you some examples, starting with pensions. One that I've seen is choosing a pension option with no spousal benefit. On paper, the higher monthly payouts might seem like a win. It might even mean an extra trip or two in those early years, but here's the issue. It only works out if you live a long life. What happens to your spouse if something happens to you earlier than expected? Another one is opting for the lump sum instead of the guaranteed income. And look, there are absolutely situations where taking a lump sum makes a lot of sense, but not always. For many people, I prefer the pension or some guaranteed income. It's a built-in income for life, layered right on top of Social Security. It means you can't accidentally spend down all your money too quickly. I've seen people take a $50,000 a year pension as a lump sum and then treat it like a windfall. Before they realize it, they've burned through a chunk of it on things that don't support their long-term plan. And these decisions feel small in the moment, but they're incredibly hard to undo. And that's what making level 4 so dangerous. Another fork in the road mistake, letting a life insurance policy lapse in your 50s. A lot of people lock in lower, healthier rates when they're younger, which means that giving that policy up later in life, especially in your 50s, isn't a decision to take lightly. Once it's gone, it's often gone for good. If your health changes or you try to reapply later, the cost may be astronomical, or you might not even qualify. That policy might be the only thing standing between you and your family and a major financial gap if something does happen unexpectedly. So before you cancel a policy just to cut costs, make sure you've thought through the long-term trade-offs. And the last example I'll share here, one that becomes more common lately, is putting your money into the wrong kind of annuities with inflexible terms. And let me say this one's frustrating because it's often not your fault. There are people out there calling themselves financial advisors when in reality, they're just annuity salespeople. That's all they can offer. They're not certified financial planners, and they're not going to help you look at your entire financial picture. They'll ask you a few questions about your life, and somehow everyone's solution magically ends up being an annuity. These products can have big upfront commissions, long surrender periods, and higher than average fees that stick with you for over a decade or more. Now, let me be clear. I'm not anti-annuity, and in fact, some of them make a lot of sense as a part of a broader retirement plan. But I want you to be really cautious about who you take that advice from. Here's an oversimplified test. Ask the person selling it, can you work with me outside of this annuity? If the answer is no, or they dodge the question, that's your sign to walk away. You deserve advice that's in your best interest, not theirs. The fifth level of retirement remorse is what I call the timing tragedy. And to be clear, we're not talking about investment timing here. We're talking about retirement timing. One of the hardest conversations I've had with clients is the one that starts with, I think I've waited too long to retire. They're 70 now, the portfolio is in great shape, but they've traded some of their healthiest, most active years for just a little more financial security, which by the way, they didn't really need. And now they're realizing they may never get those years back. And unfortunately, that's irreversible. Time and health are the two greatest assets you have in retirement. Once they're gone, no investment strategy can buy them back. When I ask clients what they appreciate most about their lives, it's never the long hours or promotions. Sure, they're proud of their careers, as they should be, but what they talk about with the most warmth and meaning are the relationships, the memories, the cultures they explored when they traveled, and the time they spent with the people they love. Level 5 regret isn't about money, it's about missing life. And that's a tragedy no spreadsheet can solve. As I finish this video, I don't want to leave you feeling bummed out, so let's talk strategy, because all 5 levels of regret can be prevented, but only if you plan with intention. Here's what I tell clients. Test drive retirement while you're still working. Live on the projected retirement income for 6 to 12 months. Pad your expense assumptions by 20 to 30%, especially for healthcare, housing, and long-term support. Stress test your portfolio against multiple scenarios, including inflation, recession, and sequence of returns. Don't make big decisions in isolation. Use a cooling off period for anything irrevocable like pension elections, annuities, or major gifting. And always get a second opinion from someone who's just selling you a product just so you can get the full picture. Now you understand the 5 levels of retirement remorse, from minor lifestyle adjustments to irreversible catastrophes. The goal here isn't to scare you, it's to prepare you. Because every one of these regrets I've shared today, they were preventable with the right planning and support. If you want to help make sure your retirement avoids these pitfalls, fill out the questionnaire in the description and I'll send you a free video tailored to your situation. I'll walk you through your numbers so we can help build a regret-proof plan. And as always, thank you for watching my videos and I'll see you soon.